Hi, you fellow bird fans. First of all, I want to thank you guys for watching another video. Really appreciate you guys spending your time with me and giving me a reason to keep on with this crazy little YouTube venture that I never thought that I would partake in ever, but apparently now I'm a YouTuber, so that's a thing. So I want to, first of all, extend my gratitude. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this content, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Click a like, share it with anybody who you think might be interested. I know we've all got a grandma who's like, "What's that bird?" And it's like, I don't know, maybe she'd like to hang out with me. Maybe she'd like to watch my videos. So yeah, feel free to share this, subscribe, like, anything like that. I'd really appreciate it just because I want to know what you guys want. And I want to make sure that I'm making stuff that you guys want to see. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it because it's a waste of my time and it's a waste of your time. So that's the end of that. Second of all, I'd like to apologize for what little stuff I have to put forward last week. Life's been pretty crazy, exams and stuff, college student, being a college student, and compounding on the fact that last week was Easter. So if you celebrate Easter, if you're a Christian, I just want to wish you, I hope you had a happy holiday. If not, I hope you had a happy weekend. I don't think that should be restricted to anybody who celebrates a holiday or not. I hope you guys had a good weekend, a good week in general. So that's the end of that. The reason I'm making this video, and it's going to be pretty rambly because this is just kind of my thoughts and opinions on some things that I've been seeing as a birder being involved in the birding community. So my apologies if this comes off as a rant because it's really not what I'm trying to make it be. I'm just kind of trying to express my opinions, and if you guys agree with them or not, these are just my opinions. So please don't hate me if I think something differently than you. Even though, knowing all you guys who are probably watching, I probably have a feeling you kind of feel in the same vein as I am. But I just wanted to get this out there because I wanted to go over my ways to not only, if you're a new birder, break into the birding community, but also, if you're an experienced birder, if you're in the birding community, how to foster that sense of community so that we're existing with a positive community for new birders to branch into. Just a couple of background stats and everything like that. Birding for the past couple of years in the United States has been the second most popular outdoor recreation in the United States after gardening, which makes sense. A lot of people have this stigma that they put on birding and the bird watching community that it's really just kind of old white men with a lot of money who are retired and can afford really dope binoculars and scopes and cameras. That's the other thing. But the birding community, the past couple of years, especially the past 10 years in particular, has really sought out to break down that stigma. Birding, in my opinion, is one of the most dynamic and diverse cultural communities that I've ever been a part of. There's something about the fellow passion for birds that just breaks down any potential barriers with a person there could possibly be, whether they're societal or anything like that. So I think birding as a community, super duper positive thing. And I love that for the world. I think conservation knows no bounds. Love for and passion for the environment should know no bounds because that's what's going to get people to get passionate about saving the environment, conserving the environment, which is something that I'm super passionate about. So being able to see that people are getting on board with that any way they can makes me honestly the happiest guy in the world. The other stat is that birding is actually one of, if not the fastest growing recreations as far as outdoor recreation goes in the country. So not only is this a really popular field already, more and more people are flooding into it every single day. And one thing that I've begun to notice is that especially with social distancing and not being able to go outside, that's only gone on the rise. I'm part of a couple different Facebook groups and everything like that. Illinois Birding Networks, Ohio Birding Networks, some rare bird Facebook groups for different states that I'm readily in, as well as groups like r/what's this bird, where you can submit a picture on Reddit of a bird and people will identify it for you, which I think is honestly a super positive kind of thing, especially if you're a new birder, because a lot of these people will take the time to really tell you why they're making that identification, and that only helps people move forward and grow in their own birding experiences as well. So I think all these things are super positive and make it super easy to break into the birding world if you're a newbie. And I've seen a lot of interaction within these groups just be on the rise ever since that we've, started social distancing, started quarantining. We're closing down state parks, which is a bummer, but I totally get. I think that some people have not taken the responsibility and taken things seriously, and unfortunately that they've ruined it for everybody, but I do agree with the measures that have been taken, and they push you into things like backyard birding, which did a video on, probably do another video on, because it's something that I'm highly passionate about. So I think I know for a fact I've been seeing people using these birding groups and breaking into the birding world go on the rise. It's the same way, I showed you guys the video on how to do a rare bird alert to set that up through eBird. And the amount of ticks that I've been seeing that set off rare bird alerts are just skyrocketing, whether or not they're valid, which is kind of what this video is centering on. Because obviously with the massive influx of new birders, what we're going to see is, just by nature of the game, an influx of improperly or misidentified birds as well. And you can kind of see that. I know I've seen a couple rare bird alerts where, someone posts a picture on eBird of a red-tailed hawk and lists it as a Swainson's, and it's like, well, you can easily tell that it's a red-tailed hawk if you know what you're talking about, and that's not to come off as a knock, but just if you've experienced it enough to where you can tell very easily. I know some people are just getting into this field, and obviously they're going to make mistakes. Lord knows I did, and I was lucky enough to where I had people around me, like my professor, like extremely experienced birders, like one of my buddies at school, Cole DeFabio, one of the best birders that I personally have ever gotten to meet. Having those people around is a great resource to grow your experience and your talents as a birder and grow your ability to identify. And unfortunately, that's something that these new birders who are branching into the community just don't have access to because we are socially distanced. Normally, when I go chasing a rare bird, which is something that I personally really enjoy, I'm not the only one going. The most I've ever seen is 15 other birders. And there's a big community aspect to that kind of thing to make sure that this is properly identified instead of just pushing through that identification and being like, well, they said it's an eared grebe, so I'm going to assume it's an eared grebe too. That kind of thing. So there's a big community aspect to it when we're allowed to go and not worry about social distancing that people don't have access to as they're trying to get into the community right now. And so, first off, if you're new to the birding community, I would like to welcome you in because I personally am really happy that this is something that you're thinking about getting started with. I'm very happy that this is something that you've obviously found the time or found enjoyable. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Nobody comes to watch these videos because they think I'm attractive. I'll tell you that much. You guys have come here because you're passionate about birds, you're interested in birding, all that kind of stuff. So first off, I want to welcome you with open arms. I think it's incredible that this is something that you're thinking of doing, and I will always be happy to spread my passion with you. And just a couple tips and tricks that I have for when, trying to get better at birding right now. A lot of my other videos have kind of more in-depth stuff. Thayer birding software is something that I go through. eBird is something that I go through. I'm going to do something on the Merlin Bird app as well, so keep an eye out for that. So I'm not going to really go into specifics or anything, but just some considerations I have for you guys who are trying to break into this field and don't exactly have a lot of experience with. First off, get a guide. Guides are great because if you're looking at a bird, they're readily accessible, whether it's on your phone or a actual in-book bird guide. Keep something like this by your window where you watch birds if you have feeders set up, and just kind of acquaint yourself with it. I might just be a nerd in this sense, but I love just scrolling through the pages and learning about random birds, both that I can see in my area and that I can't see in my area. And just as the same, I love going on my phone and looking through the apps and seeing what's been reported in my area, what's supposed to be reported in my area, and just learning and getting acquainted with the stuff that I should be expecting to see as a birder near Chicago, Illinois. So getting yourself acquainted with that, either with guides or your phone apps or anything like that. The internet is a great place, great resource. Easiest way to kind of make your bird identifications better. And on top of that, join the Facebook groups. Facebook group, What's This Bird? If you have any identifications that you need help with, picture-wise, people will undoubtedly be there to help you. And I think that's one of the greatest things that we have as a tool as birders. If you don't have Facebook, but you have Reddit, there's also r/whatsthisbird, which I already described earlier. But these places make it so that not only somebody will help you correctly identify a bird, but they will also usually, if they're kind of trying to be educational about it, they will give you the reasons that they did that too. And taking that all into a database is a great way to expand your knowledge as a new birder. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Any Audubon site or something like that, Audubon chapter, will have people listed on their site to where I guarantee they will be happy to share their knowledge with you. Usually they have email addresses or something like that. There's birding networks all over the place. And that kind of stuff is really accessible to anybody who needs help or wants help or just wants to get better. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be bashful, because majority of the people will be 100% there for you. We want you to succeed, and that's really all there is to it, because birding is more fun with people than it is without. I'll wholly admit it. There's something just super special about it. Now, if you're a member of the birding community already and you're pretty well versed on this stuff, one thing that I really want to ask of you guys, and this is a response to stuff that I've been seeing, and it's kind of disappointing me personally. Just be patient. Like I said, there's going to be an influx of rare bird pings that aren't necessarily accurate. And that's fine. You're going to see an influx of stuff on Facebook group, What's This Bird, r/whatsthisbird, that is way off. And I've seen responses and comments making fun of these people, which I think is awful, because the last thing that we want to do is foster a community that makes new people think that they can branch in. Birding, in my opinion, is dynamic. It should be ever growing. It's a field that's ever changing. Just ask taxonomists, am I right? So there's no structure of what a birder should be. Sometimes there's no right or wrong answer, and I'm not saying that, that doesn't exist, that sometimes people are definitely off base. I'll be first to admit it. I've done it. I've seen it happen a lot in the past couple weeks. But, requests like asking people how you can eBird rare alerts from people who haven't been birding for a certain period of time, to me, that just makes the problem worse. And I think that you're going to end up scaring away people who want to get into this, or you're going to make people think that this is a community that is built upon the people who are already really good at it, and those people don't really give a crap about anybody else. And that is not something I want to see for this community, because at the end of the day, birders, all of us, we love birds. Whether you love birds because you love to list them, you love to get numbers, you love birds because you just love seeing birds, you love birds because you love the environment. All of us love birds in some way, shape, or form, and there's no right or wrong answer to how you can love birds. So I think birders at all levels should be readily accepted in. Not to mention, the more people we get loving birds and the more people we get passionate and hyped about birds, the more people who are going to want to conserve birds. And that's something that obviously we need to do. I'm going to make a video in the next couple coming weeks talking about some ways that I think you can conserve birds and some issues that birds are going through conservation-wise right now. Obviously, they're going through a lot. If you guys heard the report last year, about 50% of our bird numbers in the past 50 years are just gone, decimated. That's awful. And the only way we can combat that is by getting more people involved and passionate in what we love and what we do. So, if you're a member of the birding community, just have patience. you can usually tell a rare bird alert that is correct versus incorrect. And rather than get upset about it being incorrect, I guarantee you the eBird reporter is going to flag it, because if you can pick it up, the person whose job it is to pick it up will probably pick it up. Especially in these metropolitan suburban areas where I know a lot of people live. So just be patient. It's not the end of the world. And just be positive and foster that kind of positive community that people can branch into if they want to. Because at the end of the day, that's the main goal. You know, I love birding, and my goal is to get people to love birding too, or at the very least to love birds. And so I hope that all the videos that I put out kind of help with that message. And that's why I'm doing this. And I think that's what the whole community should be doing in order to kind of foster that positive community. I don't really have anything else to say on that. If you have any questions, you can leave comments or something like that. I didn't want to go too in depth with some of the stuff that I've been seeing because, one, I don't want to give it a platform. I think it's pretty disgusting to be treating people so negatively sometimes when they're just trying their best. And two, I think, you know, we got enough negative stuff in the world. I don't want to dwell on that as well. I just kind of wanted to address some ways we can make it so that people who are getting into this field, how we can foster a good sense of community for them. And if you're trying to get into this field, how you can aid your transition as seamlessly as possible. And that was just kind of a reaction to stuff that I've been seeing. So I want to thank you guys for dwelling with me on that 16-minute rant. Definitely did not intend for that. I will have another video coming up by the end of this week. I'm not sure which one it is going to be yet. I have a couple ideas. I think probably something to do with sparrow identifications or maybe ear identifications is something that people ask for. I think sparrows would be pretty fun to do. So if you guys would like to see that, just drop a comment, drop a like, you know, anything like that. If you want to see my videos in your inbox, hit subscribe. You can hit the bell icon. I know that's what YouTubers usually ask people to do, so I should probably do it too. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. I'll see you with the next video. Just want to thank you guys again for taking quarantine and social distancing seriously, because that's what's going to get us through this and back to birding in big numbers sooner rather than later. In the meantime, I hope you guys stay happy. I hope you guys stay healthy. And I just want to wish you guys, as always, happy birding. See you next time, guys.